Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad has officially announced the nomination of Dr. Satan Nabaneh as the Gambia's candidate for the election to the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. The election is scheduled for February 2026 during the 48th ordinary session of the African Union Executive Council in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Dr. Nabaneh is a renowned Gambian legal scholar and human rights advocate with extensive expertise in child rights, protection, advocacy, and policy development within the African human rights framework. She has dedicated much of her career to simplifying complex human rights laws and removing barriers that prevent marginalized groups, especially children, from accessing justice. In her candidacy statement, Dr. Nabaneh emphasized her commitment to bridging the gap between the African Children's Charter's provisions and tangible national-level outcomes for children. Her vision for the committee centers on technical guidance and emerging threats, accountability and accessibility, and cross-continental synergy. Here is an excerpt.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, and champions for our children. My name is Dr. Satan Nabaneh, and I am honored to be the Gambia's candidate for the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child for the 2026 to 2031 term. The majority of my life has been dedicated to a single mission: demystifying complex human rights law and removing the practical barriers that prevent our most marginalized, particularly children, from accessing justice. Today, I stand before you not just as a scholar, but as a practitioner, ready to ensure that the African Children's Charter provides the protection every child deserves. I bring a unique blend of academic rigor and hands-on advocacy with a PhD and a Doctor's of Law, LLD, focusing on human rights. I have authored over 50 works on critical issues relevant to the work of the committee. But my work goes beyond the classroom. As the founder of Law Hub Gambia and co-founder of Think Young Women, I have worked at the grassroots level to advance the rights of girls and young women across the continent. My commitment has been recognized, including the Women in Law Justicia Award for advancing African women in law through my mentorship of the next generation of female lawyers and being named one of the 10 African scholars to watch in 2024. My vision for the African Committee of Experts is built on 3 strategic pillars. First, technical guidance on protection. We must address emerging threats whilst championing the rights of children with disabilities, adolescent girls, and those in vulnerable health situations. Second, accountability and accessibility. I am committed to fostering domestic compliance by providing the technical support needed to align national legal frameworks with the African Charter. We must also dismantle access to justice barriers to ensure the Charter's communications mechanisms is accessible for individual redress. And third, to bridge the gap between the Charter and national reality, I will prioritize cross-continental synergy. This means deepening collaboration with other African Union organs, including the African Commission and the African Court and the United Nations treaty bodies, whilst deepening our essential partnerships with member states, national human rights institutions, and civil society to maximize our impact for every child on the continent. I am prepared to use my academic training, my legal expertise, and hands-on experience to support the work of the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. I sincerely hope that member states find me a suitable candidate to make a meaningful contribution to the work of the African Committee. Together, we can strengthen accountability and protect the future of Africa, our children. Thank you.